Hi, dumpster diving time again. Check this out. It's the first time ever that I have scored a touchscreen all-in-one PC, and this is a HP NV23 Touch Smart, complete with Beats audio, wank wank wank, and it's got a Core i5 in it. Dates from 2012. That's the model number anyway, and it's got a Core i5 3750, I think it is, in it. And yeah, somebody has dumped it. Now it did actually have the plastic unclipped like that, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. Having a hard time clipping it back in, but unbelievable. Why would someone, if it does work, I can't believe somebody would throw this out. Anyway, the model number is 23-D005A. It's got a tuner in it. Wow. It's got a pain in the ass DC connector though. I have, because I've got a set of 20 of these things, and well, I've got like four lots of these, and I found one that I think might fit, but I looked up the specs for it, and it's a 180 watt power supply. It's 19 volts at 9.5 amps. Like 9.5 amps for one of these little dicky barrel jack type things with those tiny little pissant pins in them. I just find that incredible that sort of barrel jack connector, they'd be using that for near 10 amps. Unbelievable. Anyway, it looks in reasonable nick apart from the case being slightly off. Anyway, it's got USB 3 and SD card reader and everything on the side. So anyway, we'll try and power this thing up and see what's what. Absolutely amazing. Okay, I just realized that it's not actually the pin in there that does it. I didn't know this, but there's an inner barrel inside there. So, okay, that would make more sense, because if you just had the dicky little pin, then it wouldn't make any sense at all. Anyway, I do have a supply. I forgot I had this beastie, the 6642A. I've got a couple of variants of this. This one actually conveniently does 0 to 20 volts, 0 to 10 amps. Perfect. So 19.5 volts. I've checked that I've buzzed out the outer barrel on there, goes to mains earth, so that's got to be negative. And the inner ring is going to be positive, so we'll plug it in and see what happens. Fingers crossed. All right, here we go. On. Let's go for broke. 1.5 amps. 2 amps. It's drawing something. Soft power button on the top. It's drawing 1.6 amps. So no magic smoke, nothing on the screen. What if I hold down the power button? I don't know, does it take time? What does it do? I don't know. Never used one of these things before. It's doing something at 1.6 amps. Maybe the screen's gone. Maybe that's why they dumped it. I don't know. That doesn't seem like enough to, 30, oh, that's enough to boot it. Really? To boot a Core i5, maybe? Now, I actually have a LED on the back that's on, and the CD at the side, light comes on, and I can hear the CD seeking, so it's kind of, sort of doing something. So maybe it's booted and the screen is busted. I don't know. It might have to come apart. And there's a screw loose in the top paddock. That's completely, yeah, someone's had a play with that. So maybe they've tried to, yeah, look, warranty void sticker. Someone's had a go. Have a go, you mug. Someone's had a crack at this and has put it back. Ta-da! We're in like Flynn. Oh, look at that. That comes off beautifully. Bobby Dazzler. So there you go. I've never seen inside one of these before. I haven't done a teardown on one of these. But look, we've got our SO DIM modules down in there, fully populated. Thanks for playing. And of course a ton of shielding on this thing. And there's your CPU. There's your heatsink. Got big copper pipes on it, and a squirrel cage fan in there. Wonder how loud that puppy is. But anyway, and our SATA connector. There's our hard drive. Okay, somebody's ripped the hard drive out of it. I think that's where it sits. It looks like there's a cage. Oh, sorry. Looks like there's a cage which goes down in here. So, yep, that's why they've ripped it apart. Not necessarily to fix it, but to remove the hard drive before dumping. So, yeah, but there is something wrong with it. Some backlight thing? Looks like, yeah, it's a backlight. Okay. Now let's switch this puppy on. And, ta-da, there's actually a light down in there, and our fan has spun up, and I think I heard the CD drive go, so it's going. I would say that the processor in this baby is working, and it's likely booting at 1.65 amps. So much for the the 185 watt capable power supply it needs. I didn't have to worry about that at all. Could have just used a regular lab bench supply to get this thing powered up. Of course, it could consume more if the screen, maybe the screen's like completely cactus and isn't drawing power. I don't know what the nominal power consumption of this thing is. Check out the Wi-Fi antennas up here. You can see them there and there. And there's the... Okay, the button is definitely okay. It's illuminated. They've got some LEDs on top of that power switch there. It's doing the business. I don't see them changing. Are they supposed to change colour or whatnot? But, interesting. Well, looks like they didn't throw it out working. I was actually able to do the soft power down by holding the button. You can't see it, but there's two little LEDs on top there. And I just pressed it. LEDs came on. Fan spins up. Oh! Oh! I saw a LED in there come on. Check that out. Isn't that pornographic? Oh, look at those copper heat pipes. Beautiful. Coming off the Core i5 processor there. And check it out, under there, in its own on its own daughter board. They didn't build it onto the main motherboard because they can upgrade it. That's the graphics card. It's a HD 75 something or other Radeon card. I don't believe it's hugely powerful, but good enough for this sort of all-in-one purpose. And there's our webcam attachment there. That's going up there. So that's the NSA edition, I'm sure. Now what I'm looking for is some sort of external, LCD connector, some sort of video connector that I can hook up to. Look at this, DVI. There it is. Can you see that? It's got, what is it, UMA DVI. It's near the little Wi-Fi chipset there, but that says UMA DVI, and the one above it says MXM DVI. But yeah, I don't have any sort of adapter cable for anything like that. If I did, I could use that to bypass the built-in screen just to make sure that the processor works. But as I said, it's doing all the right things. It's doing soft power up, power down. Seems to be doing that just fine. So it's driving the, it's talking to the drive as it should on boot and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure this sucker is booting into Windows, or yes, it is a Windows machine, isn't it? So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's actually booting, but the screen's dead as a dodo. And it looks like down in the bottom of the case here, we have a secret squirrel USB connector. It looks like you shove something up its clacker there. Which is different to the 4 USBs we've got over here, which are, user accessible on the back panel, the 2 USB 3s here. So that's a special secret squirrel one that, what is it, a service connector, upgrade BIOS thing, whatever, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, there's our tuner card. Get the model number for those playing along at home. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is... nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Just remove the BIOS and short that out and clear that there. I don't know if there's a switch or a jumper. Oh yeah, I think there is. If I take that out, these are, by the way, if you're wondering, these were, there you go, 4 gig a pop. So this has got 8 gig, CMOS plus password, plus PW, I presume that is. Anyway, let's reset it, repower it, see if it makes a difference. Shouldn't, though. Can't see how. Check this out. This is really groovy. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Look, it's a vertical watch crystal holder. They soldered that in vertically, and that's what they're doing. They're holding that up. That is remarkable. Hats off to whoever did that. That's gilding the lily. Okay, the next thing I just thought of is that maybe because these are like really ultra consumery kind of, you know, user experience kind of thing, maybe with no hard drive in here, they've removed the hard drive, maybe it just simply doesn't boot up with anything. Like no BIOS messages or anything like that perhaps. So I've got a drive from another machine which has Windows 10 on it. Whack it in there. She'll be right. Prop it up a bit. No whackers. And let's switch that on. See what it does. Aha! That's the hard drive LED over there. Let me check the screen. I can't see it. It's down flat. Damn it. Hang on. No. Still nothing. Bummer. Aha, I figured this out. This is the LVDS going off to the panel, and MXM is actually the graphics card. That's why we've got two. The UMA one, I believe that would be the integrated graphics inside the Intel Core i5. So, yeah, we can choose between that. So they've got the LVDS one and they've got the DVI, exactly the same here. So if we had the proper connector to convert that into a DVI connector, we could just hook on straight onto an external monitor directly onto that DVI connector. I wonder if you can buy those on eBay or whatnot. Anyway, I'm going to swap this over from the video card, because who knows? Could be a video card at fault, and switch it over to the integrated graphics, see if that works. And yeah, the reason I know that is because MXM, sorry about the crudity here, there it is, it says it down in there, MXM, so that's the graphics card, so that relates to that output there. Easy. I actually rather like the thermal design on this, by the way, not just, you know, for the copper heat pipes, that's, you know, it's common in laptops and stuff like that, but, you know, like, they've done it right. They've got the air coming out of the top, you know, like the squirrel cage fan. I can hardly hear that thing at all. It's not much, and it's, you know, and then it pushes out and sucks it in from down here and then pushes out the top exactly as you'd expect it would. So that's nice design. And in case you're wondering, nope, I got diddly squat with the LCD changed over to the UMA. So, it's not that. Okay, the next thing I want to check is the other end of the flat flex cable there going into that. So I've got to get in there and carefully unclip that and just have a little wiggle, yeah. Alright, now I'm starting to think that it's the backlight, LED backlight driver over here, because I turned off the lights, turned it on, and there's no residual LED backlight at all. So that could explain it. Okay, so let's actually disconnect the board and take some readings here. I've got it connected through to system ground there. Now pin 1 is actually 3.38 volts. I'm going to call that pin 1. It's the black, because, you know, black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all that sort of jazz. And 3.39, same. Third one over, 19.4. What do we got? 19.4 again. 3.38. 0.33. No idea what's doing there. Zippity-doo-dah. And zippity-doo-dah. Alright, let's plug the board in, see if it makes a difference. Okay, that pin 1 has now dropped down to 0.17. Yeah, So if that was supposed to be a 3.3 volt rail, then we're in trouble. That's still 19. That's the power. That's going to be exactly the same. That's the same pin. And 3.3, oh no, there's 3.3. 0.3. Okay. Well, not exactly sure what that means, but anyway, let's go measure it over on the board now. And what I'm going to do is that there's the ceramic output caps on here, and I'm going to measure the voltage across those, and zip. So obviously, it's not generating the compliance voltage required to drive the lead string. So, yeah. Now I've measured the diode in there, and that's good. So what I'm going to do now is measure the power in. That's on pin 2. Jeez, I can hardly see that. It's insane. Oh God, I can't even see that to probe anymore. Unbelievable. But I can probe the bypass cap there. And of course we get the supply voltage, 19.4 volts. So, yeah, the chip's getting power, but I don't think she's switching. Okay, let's probe pin 5, which is the enable pin. Should be the top of this resistor down here. Aha! It's not enabled. Well, there's your problem. And I traced out the enable pin, pin 5. It went on the back of the board here and wiggled its way over to the third pin from the end there. So that is the culprit. That is not enabling our driver chip. No wonder the backlight's not coming on. Whether that's deliberate or whether or not there's some fault causing that, I don't know, but we can certainly override that. Alright, what I've done now is I've actually cut the trace going to the enable pin on there, and it's got a 20k pull down resistor on it, and I've tied that high, so I'm basically going to force that enable pin. I wanted to cut the track because I don't know what's driving it. Could be direct logic, and I didn't want to like directly short it out. Didn't want to go cutting cables and you know, things like that. So yeah, let's try it. So we're going to force this thing on, and oh, here we go, on. No, hiccuping. Look. Hey, it's hiccuping. Oh, no, hang on. That could be the power supply. I may not have enough current limit. I had it set to 3.5 amps. Hang on. No, it's not the power supply doing that. It's the power supply on here. Just hiccuping and resetting the whole thing. You can see the LED flashing down there, the power LED up the top, switch up this soft switch on the top, and you can see the fan just going twitch. It's got nervous twitch. It just can't handle it. So yeah, backlight problem. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect the actual LEDs themselves, and we'll give it another go. Nah. Whoa. This is heavy. And here we go, check it out. Actually uses an MPS 3389, which is a monolithic power multi-string, multi-12 LED string driver, which is exactly what you'd expect to find here. And there are our two power transistors it needs. Here's the schematic, typical application schematic, which is almost going to follow this precisely. So here's your two power transistors. Right here is your converter, and Bob's your uncle, right? This thing should work, but it doesn't. Good. Now we have something to troubleshoot. And before you scream at me, no, it's not the fuse there. I've measured it. Bugger. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just try and manually drive this backlight. So, you know, it has the weird pain in the ass little connector thing on it, so I just got rid of that and chopped it off. We'll feed in some leads. I can always reattach later, and I'll use my Keithley current source. I don't know the drive current, so I'm going to set it to like a nominal 50 milliamps. That's what it has in the data sheet for that chip driving, but we just, you know, we just don't know. I mean, this board has the external drive transistors on, so it could certainly be more than that, but I don't know, 50 milliamps sounds fine. And you need a source like this because, of course, we're going to have lots of LEDs in series. There'll be like a strip along probably the top and bottom, or it could be the sides, and probably top and bottom, because then there's less range to go that way to actually project the light up there than it is to come in from the side. So I'd say they've got them top and bottom, just as a guess. So we're going to have a big string of LEDs in there. There could be, I don't know, 20 LEDs or something, all in series. So let's say we had 20 LEDs and they're all white LEDs with a nominal, say, 3-volt voltage drop. Some of them can be much higher, like up to 5 volts or something. And so 3 times 20 is 60 volts. So you need a reasonably high compliance voltage. And my Keithley one here will actually go up. Here's the compliance voltage knob, and it'll go right up to 100 volts. So we shouldn't need any more than that. Because the reason you can tell is because these wires are absolutely, the reason you can tell it's high voltage is these wires are absolutely tiny. So if it was like low voltage and it was driving them all in parallel or whatever, which is a harder arrangement to physically manufacture on the board. It's much easier to put LEDs in series, is you'd need much thicker wires to get the same amount of power. So obviously it's going to be a low-ish current, like, in the order of that 50 milliamps. Anyway, enough talking. Let's see if we can ramp this thing up and see if the LEDs come on. All right, let's give it a whirl. Sorry for the screens just reflecting like buggery. Anyway, let's turn it on. Compliance voltage down to 10 volts. And I'll actually move it over here like this, so you can see the compliance knob at the same time. So let's turn it up. Hopefully I got the right... Hey, hello. Hello, McFly. There we go. Look at that. There's an interesting... so, yeah, it's about 40 volts. There you go. So, if you're like a nominal 3 volts... per LED, for example, like you might have, a dozen LEDs in there or something like that. I've got an interesting dark patch here. Are they on the side and projecting over? That's interesting. Anyway, let me swap that over to the other one, because there's only 2 LED strings inside this thing, and see. Aha, yep, it looks like it is side lit. There you go. Looks like they got them just on this one side over here. That's interesting. Wow, I wouldn't have expected that. I would have expected them to be top and bottom in there. And if you put them on the side, I mean, trying to get an even projection right across that sort of width, what is it, 20 inches or whatever, 18 inches or something, 23-inch screen, I don't know, work out your angle and figure that out. But yeah, trying to get it right across is, it's really quite difficult. And that's a reasonable, camera looks reasonable what it is actually in real life. Don't worry about that strip there. That's just a reflection off the wall over there. But yeah, anyway, let's power this thing up and see if we can do it. Here we go. All right, 19 volts. We're good. We're good. Power on. Ta-da. Whoa, hello. Hello. I saw something. I saw a scan line. Did you see a scan line? I saw a scan line. But we don't have anything. I would have still expected to see some sort of image, even if we didn't have very faint image, even if we didn't have any backlight, because you're still going to get some like external light coming in, and then the reflector at the back actually would, bring something back out, I would have thought anyway. So, no, we've got nothing. So, it's not a matter of just the backlight failing. It certainly ain't that. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark here, and I'm not sure what, because the puppy is booted. Let me turn the soft power off. Yep, current is 0. Let's switch it on again. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Got ourselves a scan line. Yep. All right, and then it faded out. So something wrong. Let me change that cable back from the video card back to the other the internal graphics chipset again. Though I actually had it set to the internal UMA thing. So let's try that again. No, same thing. Exact same thing. So Yep, using both the graphics card and the internal chipset. Nah, it's cactus. So we have a bigger problem than just that. But I still contend that this thing is booting. Because it can, like, it goes through the boot, seems to go through the boot cycle. The soft power switch on here is doing its business. The CD drive, you know, we can make it seek that and things like that. So I think the processor's booting and doing something, but we get nothing on the screen, so I don't know. Oh, let me try the hard drive thing again. Hang on. All right, hard drive plugged in. All you solid state aficionados will complain that, yeah, the current jumped up to 2.5 amps. I'm not current limiting, not entering current limit, so it ain't that, as in current limit as in the power supply down here. It jumped up to like 2.1 amps or something when I had the hard drive in there and switched it on, but no, it's not booting anything. So I don't know, this starts to get a lot more complicated pretty quickly. And it'd be nice if there were like some, you know, error beeps on power up, but I don't, unless I'm missing it, I don't see a buzzer on here anywhere, like a system buzzer. So, or whether or not, I don't even see like a connector or pin header thing for it. Nothing that's labeled anyway, so that's a bit of a bummer. It wouldn't, but then again, you'd probably need like the service manual, and well, I don't know. Can you get the service manual for this? Haven't even looked yet. Should Google it. So I'm going to leave it at that for the time being. If you got any good, because I didn't want to spend a huge amount of time on this. I was hoping to just work out of the box or be something simple. But anyway, if you've got any good ideas, leave it in the comments down below. Catch you next time.